So I could go ahead and do another quick story time. I suppose I could. I don't really have too much. If somebody needs to ping me, they can ping me. So all I'm really going to be doing. Wait a minute, hold on. When is this? Oh, I could take that one from there too. But there's nothing really that important. I ain't gonna trip. I'm just gonna leave that alone. That ain't really nothing that important. I can log in or not. There's really nothing I need to know. So this one I'm gonna do real quick about. I could either do a precursor. Let me think for a second. Let me look at the list. So maybe I'll do a 2-in-1. Maybe I'll do a 2-in-1 because I don't really need no visuals for that one. So I'll move this up a little closer and move this out the way. Yeah, the prequel to The Darkness, 2005. I think this is going to be called The Darkness series. So I'm going to do a mini series within a series. This is probably going to be part 1, 2s. I'm going to do parts in these. So this situation I was talking about where the suspected backdoor activity was going on was I had a homie that is from Gary, and he had a brother from Gary too. So now I start hanging out with one of these guys when I got my own apartment, and I'm trying to think how I could say it without being. All right. Anyway, I knew somebody. They used to always break bread. Used to always spend money with me and everything. And over the years, they used to look out, I'll say. And let me see here. Okay, I'll tell that's from the remote. I might be able to do that today. Yeah, maybe I could work on that today. We'll see. That's something I could look at. So what ended up happening was you had a brain fretch. Another ticket came in. Okay, so now we start hanging out, and among a friend of mine is like a long-term friend. It's like a lifelong relationship unless somebody does something flunky. I typically don't. A lot of times people fall out over money or they fall out over that, but I never really had no situations where I had to do that because I had always kind of got my own. So I never really had no situations where I had to fall out over a dollar amount. A lot of times friends fall out over stuff like that. It's usually a dollar amount, or it's also usually over a woman or something like that. So I didn't have to have those issues. So what ended up happening was we started hanging out, and that's when I was staying in the projects and stuff. And he was like, "Oh man, so he cool as hell." Because like first thing I do, we start hanging out and stuff. He was real good at getting the women. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had issues, but he was like that was his thing. He knew how to get them, and the ones he'd always get that he didn't want, I'd be wanting to talk to him. But he wasn't really tripping. So it might be someone that's trying to talk to him, or he just don't want no more. Somebody be like, man, he might talk to one for a little bit, and they be on him, and he don't want them. So he would be like, man, you can have her. And sometimes they be interested in me, but sometimes they just wouldn't. I'd be like, man, but that was his thing. He was really a super ladies man. He always had the newest clothes, all kinds of stuff like that. So, I was talking to this woman at one point in time, and hold on, I'll look at that later. I was talking to this woman at one point in time, and I hook him up with her friend. The girl I used to talk to, she was, I don't know, she was acting weird or whatever, you know. So her friend really like me, and her friend was kind of bad, a little Latin chick, but I sent her over to talk to him. They start hanging out for a little while or whatever the case may be. And what ended up happening was they kind of kicked it for a little while or whatnot. So that was through me. That was through my connection. That was the one I was telling you, that the little biracial chick I was playing the Soldier Slim, and she's like, "Oh, that's racist," and you know, she was, you know, thinking like her mama. So she couldn't listen to that soldier life mentality, you know, off of that Streets Made Me. She couldn't. Yeah, I had played it in the car for her, and it was just, she just went straight Karen. So you know we weren't gonna last. So, but over the years, even when I, you know, moved on lake or whatever case like that, you know, we still kind of hang out and whatever like that. So now, this is the first incident that happened. Now, mind you, these guys will tell you they from Gary, right? So, you know, I won't get into the specifics, but you know, I'll say they're from Indiana. So now, one of them was this is when I had my Dodge Spirit. So we're rolling down the street. We're going down 38th. They knew some people in the neighborhood. Now, they weren't from that hood, but they had a friend there, I guess. So they rolling down the street. One of them, his brother was riding with me too, because I think we were headed to Micro Center or something like that. Because I told her, what you doing, DP, today? I said, man, I'm about to go. I'm reading up. I'm trying to grab some, you know. So this was probably 08, 09. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was 09. Had to been 08. Had to, because I got the Dodge Spirit earlier that year, or I think at the end of 2007. Because remember, I had that Lumina that broke down and I bought off Lake Street, and then that broke down after 2 weeks. I dropped it off at Lake Street, and then after 2 more weeks, I kept hustling and doing computer repair, hopping on the bus. I remember because it was really, really, really cold. And that old school cat from New York, I used to tell y'all about, we called him New York. I used to wholesale to him, and I used to make stuff for him and fix his computer. He brought me out on a Craigslist to go get the Dodge Spirit. So I accumulated like 2 racks in 2 weeks. That wasn't from my job. That was just from texting the bus. Okay, do a computer here, 150. Do another computer here, 150. Couple mixtapes here, you know. And then I just compounded everything, and I went and got $1,000 Dodge Spirit. So this had to have been 2008 when I was be with these guys, because it was a summer day. It was like it was hot. So we driving down 38th. One of them, you know, they throw they set up in the car. I lose it. I'm pissed because we going through 30. I'm like, what are you doing? As we're kind of going past, and I'm looking out, I'm seeing out what he's doing. He's hanging out the window and he's throwing it up. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is this dude doing? Like, because I knew that he wasn't the brightest, but this was even, and see, this is his younger brother doing this. So I'm kind of like, okay, get your brother. The response he got back, one of the dudes that was on the corner or whatever, he throws up the B back at him, and they start smiling, like grinning. So I said, okay, they know each other. But so I'm driving down the street, so I kind of lose it a little bit. I'm like, man, what the F is you doing? Oh man, I know him. That's one of them. So apparently, so eventually I found out they had kinfolk, or they had friends from that neighborhood. So they would hang out sometimes there. You see what I'm saying? They would eventually hang out sometimes there. Later down the line, something happened where, I don't know if one of somebody around there tried to rob or whatever like that, and they kind of stopped going over there, whatever the case may be. All right, so now, Okay, I'll respond to that in a second. So now, eventually, what ends up happening is we end up going to Micro Center. Then I found out. So now I'm kind of yelling at this time. I'm upset. So, oh man, calm down. You overreacting. So one of them must have said something about, did you forget this, or whatever the case may be, or I don't know what it was, something that alluded that they had something in the car, and they did, and it was under my back seat. Oh, I really started getting upset. I got so mad. Well, we thought that when we riding around, we gonna need it. Well, you should have told me you had that before you got in my car. So that's when I really, really started not letting folks in my car like that. If it wasn't a woman, I ain't, or just one of my guys that I know that. So now we riding around hot. And we're on the way to where I'm supposed to be. I'm too far away to turn around. So I'm like, man, don't get my car without telling me, do you have something like that? Because I would have told you to leave it. But for some reason they needed it, and I think there might have been other reasons why they needed it, why they felt they needed it. So I'm going off, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man. So I'm like, if I'm gonna have to respond to him, he's getting pinged. So I'm gonna end this real quick. So now I'm steady trying to tell him, you should have told me you had this when before you got in the car. I didn't think you would be tripping. I'm like, well, you didn't even tell me. You know what I'm saying? I said, if we get pulled over, you taking your charge. Yeah, we'll do it, man. We'll do it. If we get pulled over, you taking your charge. Because I didn't even know. You're taking your charge, bro. So, they agreed. I was still pissed off. And I said, okay, this ain't happening. Okay, so now that's the number one incident. Number two, we eventually, like I say, when I had my second shop, eventually, one of my guys starts, jeez, hold on, let me pause this, man. Damn. All right, so I got that. I got that going. Okay, so now I open up my shop. All of my homies is coming through, everybody. And like I said, this shop was a little more organized than the last shop that Stack Doe and LT had. Far as I had organization more so. I had prices. We had flyers. My guy Jay was going downtown, passing out flyers, all that kind of things. Okay, I'll text this later. Damn, I'm not. Okay, so we was doing a computer repair. We had the shoes, we had the incense, we had the lighters, we had the mixtapes. We had all kind of stuff. Computer repair was actually pretty good because that didn't take a product. That just took my brain. I didn't have to buy anything. I can't. Gosh, man, I hate it when people keep texting me over and over while I'm trying to do this thing. So now he eventually starts coming by there. At one point we had phones and stuff, but we had some dude. He had some little janky service with the phone, so I stopped doing that because the phones stopped working or something like that. So eventually he starts kind of getting down on his luck, and I'm noticing the things. And like I say, I'm noticing these things. He's fighting in the manners. He's doing all these kind of things, and I'm kind of wondering, like, I'm not gonna. Can I silence this shit? Yeah, hold on. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb. How do you put this on Do Not Disturb, man? Yeah, Do Not Disturb for 1 hour. Shit. So I'm starting to kind of notice that he's getting kind of shadier because he's losing money and whatnot. So I don't know why all that light came. So he's starting to get kind of shady and he's losing money and whatnot, right? This thing closed. Okay, who is this? Okay, I'll look into that. Is that 2? Okay, no, I'm just checking emails right now, y'all. I don't know what some of this stuff is. Okay, so now I'm noticing he's starting to have issues, and I'm seeing these, but it wasn't really my business, so I didn't really want to ask him. And you know, I remember at one point he was staying way out, like in like the 90s and stuff like that. So I used to go over there, you know, and sometimes I'd hang out with him, whatever, but I was busy trying to get some bread or whatnot. So, you know, but I did used to go out there and, you know, and he seemed like he was all right. But I noticed around like 09, you know, and later on, the things started to kind of get bad, 09, 010, for whatever reason it was. So now, he calls up, or no, his baby mom calls up one day, calls me up and says he's in jail. I say, for what? Well, he don't want to tell you. He don't want nobody to know. I said, well, you asking me for money, and you ain't telling me as to why he's in there. This is public record. I got his. I could pull up his government. I could pull up his government. This public, you know, unless they gave him a fake name. But I think he had already. I'm not sure if he had already been in the system. He ain't did no major time or whatever like that. But man, he wasn't in there. Should have known better than running on me. I'm a smart dude. You're not gonna pull that on me. You're gonna have to do something else. So I looked it up. I go to Hennepin County. I look it up. He wasn't in there. Not. I suspected he wasn't anyway, but I just looked it up. All right. So what she wanted me to do was to come over and bring laptops and computers and stuff. She wanted me to fix their computer and bring some other ones or whatever like that they want to buy. That was the whole point. Everything might have been around $300-400 to do everything that needs to be done, whatever. So I told her, nah, just I'll take care of it. You know, how much is the bail? Well, he don't want nobody to know all that. I played it like I played it like, because you got to think, when she's on the phone, I'm typing this up. I'm already typing up, finding out he ain't in there. But I'm playing it off. Well, you know, how much is the bail? He don't want nobody to know why he's in there and all that. I said, well, is you gonna get him out? Is you trying to get him out? Well, he'll probably be out in the next week or whatever like that. Oh, okay, all right. Okay. What y'all need? Well, I need you to fix his computer so I can sell it. I said, how much do you need? Well, I need 500 to 1,000. Okay, I got you. I said, what's he in there for? Oh, you know, she's still holding on to the lie. I'm steady pressing her to try to give her the bread to get him out. She's steady holding on to the lie. Because think about it, around this time, I was doing multiple things. I had the shop. I had some PC repair on my own. You know, I had 4 streams of revenue maybe at the time that would fluctuate. So now, but if it costs this much to get him out, then I'm gonna get him out. You see what I'm saying? So now, and I knew that I probably wouldn't get my money back, but I just didn't want him in there. based on what she's saying, he's in there. If he's going to be out in a week, well, I'm not going to leave him in there a week. You see what I'm saying? This must be a small charge. If it's 500 or whatever, I'm going to get him out. Now, whether he shows up to court or not don't make no difference to me, because I know he ain't got money to pay me back no how. So she said, well, come pick it up out there in the manor, the same place where them dudes was at. So I said, well, let me call you back. I knew his mama, because she used to, you know, I used to fix her computer. I kind of knew the family. I called her up. Is he in jail? Hell no, he ain't in jail. Now, I didn't let the baby mama know that. She calls me back later on. Oh, he's still in there. He's trying to figure out, is you going to come through? I said, you know what? Let me know what the charges is and call me back. I knew he wasn't in there in the first place. She says, okay, all right. So when that scam didn't work, she didn't call me back that night. I'm sitting by my computer. Immediately, you know, I close my laptop. I'm hella disappointed in bro, because you done sent her to go do this and not knowing. So now, later on, his younger brother wanted to get like a laptop. He wanted to go to Micro Center. I told him I'd take him. I go to pick him up. He's at their house or something like that. So I walk in. He can't look me in the face. So I immediately said, you bogus, fam. He can't look me in the face. He didn't pick his head up. He can't look me in the face. I said, you bogus. And I said, you ain't getting in the car if you got any intention of thinking you going. So at that point, he knew that, you know, the friendship had ceased, because you try to pull a move, and I told him to his face, I said, you had her call the phone. I said, man, you could have had the bread, man, things is bad for me. He tried to make excuses. I said, nah, bro, ain't no excuses, bro. And it's funny now, but at the time I was pressing him. I'm like, man, nah, bro, you bogus. Yeah, I'm bogus. And his little brother, he didn't know what was going on. He's gonna take his brother's side, but still, you know. But I already told him I was gonna do it. I could have just left and said, man, because y'all might want to try to do something to me or whatever like that. But you know, I still took his brother to go get the laptop stuff. But after that, no, you know what I'm saying. So, I had to cut ties with everybody, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Because later on, I had to cut ties. But that's when I talk about the dark. When I say the darkness, these kind of things, dealing with individuals and dealing with around those times, how it just, you know, you could have been, I couldn't have been here today. It could have been something. It could have been anything. Or they might have tried to do something to me, and then I feel like I got to go do, you know, so it wasn't worth keeping that friendship. And I didn't hate him or nothing like that. I guess it just wasn't worth, because what I felt like I had to give, and what I was willing to give, and what I was willing to sacrifice my own financial well-being in order to get you where you needed to be. But that was the repayment to me. The repayment to me is treachery. That's the repayment I get. I get treachery, cutthroat, and backdoors, but I give you support. I wasn't willing to maintain that relationship, and I didn't feel bad about it. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't a lot of people I had to cut off. A lot of times when I suspect guys are kind of like that, they don't get to hang out no more. Like this one dude, he used to buy CDs from me, and I seen him again. He wanted to hang out, and I said, I usually don't hang out with the customers, whatnot. Like I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but I was kind of bold. Like I just let him know right off the rip, and he was kind of like, oh, you know. And I felt a little like, you know, maybe I didn't have to cut him like that, but I was like, man, I don't really hang out with folks like, you know. The next time I see him, he got a staple in his head. I said this in one of my books. He had a staple in his head. He got a staple in his head. I said, what happened, bro? Oh man, I was with these guys, and they They try to unalive him. One ammo, one bullet breezed past, he had to have a staple in his head. Now, think about if I would have been hanging out with those guys. I've never been that quick to just start hanging out with dudes or whatever the case may be. Because the thing is, I have a pathway that where I'm trying to get, and if I include you, we used to meet dudes all the time. They see us getting money. Hey man, let's get some money together. What skill set do you bring? Because I bring my salesmanship and the skill sets that I have. What skill set do you bring? Well, man, I don't really know nothing. I don't need that. You see what I'm saying? I don't. That's not something that I need. Why do I need that? So why do I want to hang out with you? We used to get that all the time. Dudes, hey man, let's get some bread together. Okay, what do you know, what ideas do you have? Well, man, I ain't got no ideas. I was just trying to see what y'all got going on. That always ends up in a back door, somebody getting set up for something. Always, 90% of the time. Because I'm spending time, unconstructive time. I'm already in an unconstructive environment. We're in all these different neighborhoods, and we're not doing a 9 to 5. We're out here on Lake. We're out in Boston Fields. We out in the Manors. We out in Tangletown. We're out in East St. Paul. We're on University. We on what they call it in St. Paul E Block. We on Selby. What do I need another body for when I'm already operating in the hours of the hustler? These aren't folks that work 9 to 5 that I'm coming in contact with all the time. You see what I'm saying? I'm in contact with people that ain't keeping regular hours. Why would I need to add another body to that equation? So, that was my mindset. So once I really start getting a skill set, I hopped in my car and now I'm off the block. That was my whole thing. Being on the block 90% of the time, stuff is just bound to happen. You can't leave. You're on a bus. So that's what I was trying to say. And now I'm off the block in the car, and now I got a treacherous homies trying to pull fast ones. You see what I'm saying? I said, man, I'm going to get a job full time. That hustle gonna be part time. That's another reason that that's another reason. So